Hi everybody and welcome to our Primary Science webinar. My name is Miss Kerry-Ann. I am Head of Early Years and Key Stage 1 Science, and I'm joined with Mr Jai today, who is Head of Key Stage 2 Science. Today we're going to give you a little bit more of an idea of the things we do here at GFS to support your child's learning in science. Today we are hoping to help you find out a little bit more about our GFS Science Vision. You'll find out about what science looks like in the foundation stage, Key Stage 1 and Key Stage 2. You're going to find out about how we split our assessment methods, and you'll be able to complete some science of your own at home too. Here at GFS, we believe that each and every child possesses a love of science as they marvel at the opportunities they have to interact with the world around them. Providing hands-on, experiential learning opportunities allows your child to think and act scientifically. So how do we know what good science teaching and learning looks like? We take into account many different things such as pupil voice, the curriculum, sharing good practice, self-evaluation, research and delivering good quality CPD. Science teaching and learning in our school is great when students are active participants, they collaborate on ideas, curious and ask questions, they explore the questions that they've generated, and when they investigate the world around them. Let's start with understanding the world in FS. Our FS teachers observe, question and challenge the children's thinking to develop their understanding of the world. We provide opportunities for hands-on experiential learning that expand their vocabulary, encourage deeper level thinking skills, and we build upon the personal experiences that the children have prior to joining us in FS. Within the foundation stage, science is taught through one strand of the area of learning, understanding the world. Understanding the world focuses on people, culture and communities, the natural world, and past and present. Our wonderful FS team provide opportunities that guide children to make sense of the physical world and their community. One of the main things that we focus on within understanding the world is personal experiences. Young children's personal experiences are their starting point for understanding the world. For young children, early year settings are often the first stepping stone in venturing out into the wider world outside of the immediate family home. Personal experiences contribute to children's emerging sense of place and time. This helps to develop their vocabulary as they begin to describe the world all around them. Through participating in opportunities that allow them to explore, investigate and discover, children develop their knowledge of the natural and man-made world. We encourage this year at GFS by connecting with our GFS families, celebrating significant events and building on what the children already know. Communication and language and understanding the world are two strands of the early years curriculum that come hand in hand. That's why developing vocabulary is very important within the early years. A wide vocabulary provides children with the means to describe what they see, show their knowledge, make comparisons, and start to understand that they have a part to play in looking after the world. Within our classroom provisions, our teachers model and work alongside the children, encouraging them to ask questions and learn how to answer them in different ways. Each classroom has set up areas for exploration that are of interest to the children. Often we find that the children will go to these areas and engage with their friends in different ways. The teachers then use these opportunities to introduce new vocabulary and ask questions that really drive the learning forward, such as, what can you see? How has this happened? And why do you think this has happened? Even very young children are curious about the world around them and can experience it through different media as they start to show an interest beyond their immediate first-hand experiences. Books, stories, rhymes and songs are a great way to develop this. Reading vocabulary-rich books to our children provides context for them to ask questions, explore and solve problems, whilst putting science in a familiar context and supporting making links to the real world. We know that children learn best through practical and hands-on activities, so providing hands-on experiential learning is key. By engaging children in these experiences, they are better able to connect theories and knowledge learned in a setting to real-world situations. Within FS, our scientific learning is always focused on the children doing and finding out for themselves. This encourages children to be independent, think critically, and ensures they are having lots of fun whilst learning. Through play, we can develop the children's inquiry skills, such as drawing valid conclusions, identifying questions, solving problems, conducting investigations, and interpreting evidence. This provides the children with the best foundations on which to build their scientific learning into Key Stage 1. So what can you do as parents at home to support your child's scientific learning? Communicating with your child and encouraging them to ask questions is very important. The more you talk, the more your child's vocabulary will grow, which will help them make sense of the world around them. You can say things such as, "I wonder why that happened. Why do you think that?" Going for walks is also a great way to help develop children's sense of place and their understanding of their local area. As you walk with your child, talk about the things that they are seeing around them, such as gardens, woodland, plants, flowers, animals, vehicles and buildings. Children will gain knowledge of the natural world, and this knowledge will then be built upon in school. Reading stories at home is also very important for developing your child's listening skills, understanding and communication language. Some of my favourite children's books that link to science are Lost and Found. This can be used to talk about melting and floating and sinking. You could even set up your own simple experiments at home. I also love Here We Are by Oliver Jeffers. This book is rich in vocabulary and is beautifully illustrated, which can lead you and your child into lots of talk and questioning about what you read and see.
Across the primary school, we teach science via 5 different inquiry types. These inquiry types are on the screen top left. They are fair testing, classifying and grouping, observing over time, pattern spotting, and research using secondary sources. We choose the specific inquiry type based on what we want our children to learn in that specific lesson, as different types lend themselves to different lessons. These inquiry types help us to structure the lessons and help the children find the solutions to their learning. You can see by the photographs that the learning children produce in a lesson can look very different from lesson to lesson, and the inquiry types have a big impact on this. The QR code at the bottom right of this screen will take you to the National Curriculum for England for Science, should you wish to look deeper into the topics and objectives we teach in each year group. Comparative and fair testing is the stereotypical science activity. It's when children will consider variables and how they affect things. The example on the left is children investigating materials and their properties. When looking at the relationships between data, children may use pattern seeking to spot trends. The example on the left shows children looking to see if doing lots of sport makes you fitter. Observing over time does exactly what it says on the tin. Children will make careful observations over a given period of time. It could be a short time frame or a long time frame. The example on the left involved children observing ice melting over time. Sometimes we may not be able to find an answer on our own using the resources we have available in school. So then we would look to secondary sources, just like the example on the left, where it involved children researching the key characteristics of a frog based in the Amazon. In science across the primary school, we assess in 2 different ways. We look at the children's scientific knowledge. This mainly takes place as observations during lesson time, during discussions, and also as part of a knowledge check, which is what the picture shows on the left-hand side. The children tell us what they already know, then after the learning, we ask them to go back and update it with what they now know. The second part we assess is the working scientifically skills. They are shown on the right-hand side of the screen. There are 6 different aspects to this. Both scientific knowledge and the working scientifically skills work together to create a clear picture of the children as scientists. Again, it is important to note that this can look and feel very different as we move from lesson to lesson as shown by the variety of pictures along the bottom of this screen. If you want to get involved with your child's learning at home, here are 2 QR codes that will take you to online folders full of easy to implement experiments using household items that you could carry out over a weekend to start talking and thinking about science. Additionally, we are releasing an Experiment of the Month competition each and every month. Look out for this month's competition in the house updates, which come weekly via our house leaders. Now, if you are lucky enough to find some spare time to be able to complete some science with your children at home, then we would love to find out what you have been up to. You can share what you have completed by using the Padlet link here. Simply open it on a smartphone and upload a photo or video of your science. We are planning that this link will be made available to you in order to play, pause, forward and rewind in order to access the different links. So don't panic if you did not catch all of the QR codes whilst watching this for the first time. Thank you so much for sparing your time today to watch this. We hope you have 1 or 2 takeaways from this, which can help your discussions with your child about science, especially the fact that no 2 science lessons look the same. If you have any further questions about science, please do not hesitate to ask your class teacher. Remember, the best person to ask about what has happened in science lessons is the scientist, your child. Have a great day.